Two confirmed tornadoes here in central Illinois. The boy was swimming in the creek when the current became too strong. The body cameras will be used during all patrol stops, and that includes house calls and when you're pulled over.
But an officer will always let an individual know when they are being video recorded.
This morning we saw what is definitely the most riveting piece of evidence introduced in this trial so far, the interview Chad Cutler had with Illinois State Police not even 24 hours after his wife's drowning. A national manhunt going into its third day has a town in upstate New York on lockdown. Well, 16% of the thousands of replies he received said to get men involved in the conversation, and that's exactly what Biden did during his visit here today. Congressman Rodney Davis is here this morning, not talking politics, but in fact an event that you'll be hosting this weekend at Richland Community College. Now, what I find so interesting about this group is that it actually originated after the people in charge saw the victims of the Washington tornado and felt a need to go and try and bring some comfort to that community.
It's amazing just what our furry friends can do. I had a huge smile on my face just watching that story.
Who doesn't?
Exactly.
It is an event that Roger Ebert's wife Chaz tells me keeps him alive in her memory and in the memory of so many others. And with firefighters already battling the flames in sub-zero temperatures on the ground, just imagine how much colder it feels all the way up here. You say chances, so fingers crossed that they remain just that. Downtown Springfield was packed all weekend. It all started with one stage on one street, but not anymore. Adam, I just want to start off this newscast by saying I'm so sorry for your loss.
That's all right. Just dry my eyes with my terrible towel here. That was a terrible Steelers game.
It was. But is the weather looking any better than that game? Video gambling has been legal in Illinois since 2012, but Mahomet is the only community in Champaign County where it is banned. Phyllis Wise's sudden resignation as chancellor here at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign stemmed from an ethics investigation into the use of private email accounts to discuss university business. But regardless of whether they're bringing their laptops home or leaving them at school, they'll be saving their documents to Google Drive, which means they'll have access to them wherever they have internet.
WAD's Amanda Bossard followed the trial since day one. Live now at the Macon County Courthouse where that verdict was read this morning. Amanda.
Sean, it's been more than a week of some hard-to-hear testimony and evidence, but today the verdict is in and Chad Cutler guilty of killing his wife, Lisa. Her brother tells me that he does take some comfort knowing that his suspicions surrounding her death are finally confirmed, but that there is really no true relief that can come from all of this. For David Ransdell, this day is more than 3 years in the making.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Chad Cutler, guilty of first-degree murder.
The minute we got the call in California, we knew what had happened.
That call came on April 27th, 2012, telling him his sister, Lisa Cutler, was dead. More than a year later, her husband, Chad, was arrested for her murder, confirming what David already believed.
Just the timing, just everything felt completely wrong.
After 7 days of testimony detailing the Cutlers' troubled marriage, Lisa's decision to pursue a divorce, and life insurance policies taken out in her name just days before her death, the jury found Chad Cutler guilty of first-degree murder for drowning his wife in their Decatur home.
You can't say you're happy because this involved the death of a woman, but we're glad that the jury came back with the result that they did.
It was painful because it brought back what she actually went through. You know, she was in that bathtub, she was held under. The last 4 or 5 minutes of her life, I know she was thinking about her kids.
2 kids who will grow up without a mother or father as Chad faces 20 years to life in prison.
I didn't feel any joy really or any real satisfaction because everybody in the case is a loser. Everybody lost out.
After the loss of a sister and mother whose life was taken by her husband. Another loser, so to speak, in all of this is Lisa Cutler's other brother, Rich. He died just 4 days before the trial began, and David Ransdell tells me, quote, what did him in was the loss of his sister. Live at the Macon County Courthouse, Amanda Bossard, WAND News. Even after 3 kids, Jeff and Tiffany Nardoni knew their family was far from finished. But before they could think about adding on, they encountered a terrible tragedy.
Teo, my oldest son, we lost him, and we just felt like we weren't done, and God wasn't done with us yet.
They decided to adopt, and the search for their child led them to the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where their adoption agency found them not one, but two new Nardonis, Issa and Crusoe.
So we went to Kinshasa in November and got to meet them and spend some time with them, and they call us Mama and Papa, and they were really excited to see us, and it's really hard to leave.
When we started, their process was 8 to 12 months is what they said. And it was 2 weeks after we accepted our referrals that they changed everything.
In September, the Democratic Republic of the Congo stopped issuing exit letters, which is the document that is needed to bring our children home.
So even though the paperwork is filed and both children are legally adopted, we can't show you their pictures because they are still in the Congo.
They did say that this could take up to a year, but what we have seen is there hasn't been a lot of communication in working towards resolving it.
So the couple is writing letters of their own.
Petitions to our senators, representatives, and even to our president to just say, are we aware of this and what can we do to get things moving?
We will keep following through for the next step and the next step, but we don't know. Ultimately, you don't know how it ends. It's the same way with biological children, as we've experienced.
And the same faith and perseverance that got the Nardonis through that experience is getting them through this one. They say communication is what allows their relationship to stand the test of time.
4:15 p.m.
We just were able to just talk and talk and talk, and just tell each other everything. We're just best friends.
And husband and wife. But even though Rich and Dee Dee Adams have been married for 50 years, they've never laid eyes on one another.
I was going to the Iowa School for the Blind, and Rich was going to the Missouri School for the Blind.
I had said going into college and all, I'm never going to marry a blind girl, even though I knew Dee Dee a little bit then.
But after striking up a correspondence with a lot of typing and tapes, the couple started their future together, answered their callings, and taught others how to navigate through a life without sight.
We would go from a bunch of different schools that had visually impaired kids, and then I would help them to get large print things or talking gadgets.
70 degrees Fahrenheit.
While raising 5 children of their own who are not visually impaired.
I just loved reading with them. And they have available their print books, but they have an overlay of Braille on them.
We had to learn how to do the different techniques and all that kind of thing and cope with not having the vision.
Now those techniques are being passed down to Rich and Dee Dee's 17 grandkids. But the best advice they can offer their family is to not let life pass them by.
We live one day at a time, and each day is a gift. Life's too short to be gloomy.
And for the last half a century, Rich and Dee Dee have been bringing light into each other's lives.